Hey guys, I hope that I'm live right now. If there is any problem with my audio or the video, do let me know. Okay, if there is any problem with my audio or the video itself, do let me know and I will get that changed. One more thing, I need to put up the invite link for the same as well, so let me just do that. So I'm just editing the new notebook itself that you guys will be using. I've just replaced the notebook link. You can refresh the page itself and you will be able to see the new notebook link down below in the description. So I have done that right now. You can refresh the page and you will be able to see the new notebook link down in the below itself. Okay, so someone had a problem with the notebook link, so Anmog has answered it very correctly. Click the link below for the notebook. There's an option for fork. Click on it and you will be fine to go. So amazing, Amog. This shows me that you guys are absolutely paying attention in the class as well and you were practicing. That's absolutely perfect. Without practicing, you will never be able to learn any programming related stuff, whether it be data science, whether it be machine learning, whether it be web development, blockchain, or something else as well. Okay. Okay, so the attendance link for today will be closed at 2 p.m. tomorrow in the morning. Okay, I think so that would be perfect for everyone. The attendance link that I'll be showing today will be closed at 2 p.m. tomorrow morning. Okay, so be very aware of that. Okay, thank you so much, Pratik. It really thank you. I'm shy. Can we use Notepad to write the code? It's not actually, see, I do not consider HTML and CSS as code. Like when you talk to someone and you'll say that HTML and CSS are programming languages, they will say no. So but yes, you can use Notepad to write HTML and CSS. That won't be any problem to you. Okay, so next questions, let me see. So I had asked you yesterday also, I need your guidance on how to go ahead with web dev what job for college placements. I guess it is college and not GLG placement. I don't know what GLG is. We are guided to be good at DSA. Can you please share any suggestions for any I will be answering some of the questions for the next 5 minutes, because as you are able to see right now, not a lot of people have joined us, so we'll be waiting for 5 minutes. So first of all, I'm asking a question by Khushi Singh. So basically, Khushi, if you want to become a web development engineer, or if you want to become a machine learning engineer, a data analyst, or something else as well, or a simple SDE as well, first of all is the main thing, that is DSA and algo. Okay, DSA and CP, that is data structures and algorithms and competitive programming itself. Now you can do data structures and algorithms and competitive programming in either of the two languages which I suggest to you. You can use any language, but my suggestion would be either to pick up C++ or Java. Okay, use either of, not both of them, either of these languages for DSA and CP. Now for example, you want to become a SDE, then you can have any project. You can have data science projects, you can have web development projects, you can have Android projects, you can have blockchain project. Any project will do for an SDE position. But if you want to go for a web development, like full stack web development engineer position, for that my suggestion would be to go with MERN stack first, that is MongoDB, Express, React, and in the backend Node.js. So React.js in the front end, Node.js in the backend. You can start with learning with like Git, then like HTML CSS, then like Tailwind CSS, or like Bootstrap CSS. Then moving further, you can go into JavaScript, like core JavaScript itself. After completing JavaScript, go into Redux, means like React, then components, then Redux, state management, all these kind of stuff in the front end. For the back end, you can go with Express and Node.js, so that will also be JavaScript. So your front end and back end would together become entirely in JavaScript itself. Then you want to switch from CSS to SCSS. Okay, that is the latest version of CSS itself. You can go from to CSS to Sass. Then you need to continue into DevOps. Now it's all about cloud deployment and DevOps. So there, learn about a little bit about AWS, whatever things that you have developed in the past itself, the websites, try to deploy them to AWS, that is cloud infrastructure and everything, architecture. Try to learn that, and at the end of the day it is DevOps, like how to manage that, how to orchestrate that. So that would be like containerization and orchestration, that would be in Docker and Kubernetes. So this is the entire thing that you need to learn to become a full stack web developer, and that is something that I personally did. Like I am a full stack web developer as well as a data analyst, and I have been a machine learning engineer as well as some of the startups. So I have a core understanding about all the three functionalities, what would be important for you and what not to do. So like that is the main thing that I will tell you, the entire roadmap. I hope that you wrote it down somewhere. If not, this is a YouTube video, you can just go back and just listen to it once again. Okay, so which backend language you use for Web Dev Bootcamp? For this bootcamp, there is no backend. Okay, only front end. From 5th, we are going to have another bootcamp related to Node.js. That will be in JavaScript. We'll teach JavaScript first in the first 3 days, and then we'll go into Node.js. We'll be looking at a proper website, having a proper backend itself. That will be in the next bootcamp. It's totally confusing. I also agree. In the first days, like when I started out, it took me almost 1 year just to learn MERN stack, and then another 1 year just to learn architecture and then like DevOps and everything, because I didn't had proper guidance. Like that is why I started Shape AI. To provide guidance to students itself, what should be the entire roadmap to do, what to focus upon, what not to focus upon, and how not to waste 2 years like me just to learn something that could have been done in just 3 months. That is the main aim of Shape AI. I created Shape AI with just one goal in my mind. If I am taking 2 years to learn something, I know what mistakes I have done, and I got placed. The main point is I got placed after that. I'm not like someone who is like, I have learned so much and internally he's a freelancer. I'm not something like that. Okay, I got placed, and whatever were my failures and whatever were the successes, like I tried many different things. Like I said, like I went into data science, I went into full stack. I even started learning a little bit about blockchain. I started investing into cryptocurrency and everything. So I also went a little bit like, ab kar hi diya hai, so let's try to understand how does blockchain works. So I started going into that as well. But all these rabbit holes that I traveled, I found myself learning every single day. So in this 2 years, I have just understood one thing, that if I knew from the first day what a web developer is, what a data analyst is, what is a blockchain specialist, are there jobs in these fields or not, then I wouldn't have spent 2 years doing the same thing. It would have been like 3 to 4 to 5 months, and in that manner I would have done everything and got a placement as well. So that is the entire ideology behind Shape AI, like how we found Shape AI right now. Okay, yes, you can use Visual Studio Code Editor as well. Okay, yeah. So almost everyone has joined. We will wait for 2 more minutes. I will answer 2 more questions itself, and then we'll continue with the same, because like I think so yesterday it was 3000 something and today it is 2000 something. Let's just wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Okay, next is please share roadmap for becoming a data scientist. I am a data analyst and I personally work every single day with 7 data scientists along with me. Okay, let me tell you one thing, and I'm at one of the top MNCs in India. Okay, so I'm just telling you one thing very frankly. If you have any, like, I'm not someone who is like, "Arey, everyone becomes a data scientist, man. You just study this and you will be a data scientist." It's not that easy. The 7 data scientists that I'm currently working with, okay, the lowest qualification that they have, the person with the lowest qualification is one-time PhD holder. And rest of them are almost 2 to 3 PhD holders in statistics, computational sciences and machine learning. So if you plan on being a data scientist, first get a job as a data analyst. That is the first demarcation that you are on the right path. First get a job as a data analyst in a good MNC or a startup. Start building upon that profile itself. Slowly and steadily increase. Either have a lot of experience on your end, like these people have like 10 years of experience and then they become data scientists. And I'm talking about India, I'm not talking about US. You are not living in USA, I'm talking about India itself. You have two options. You can go to US, you can like waste like 1 crore a year for doing an MS and then some PhD as well, and then get into a good company, work for some time, come back to India and get promoted to a data scientist. So that is one of the pathways. Second pathway is to be in India, to take up a fresher position as a data analyst, to move forward in that sense, do better in the job profile itself, have at least 5 to 6 years of experience, and then you will be promoted, or you can transfer into a data scientist position as well. That is the entire portion. Okay. I think so that is over. Any upcoming bootcamp on Tableau or anything related to data visualization? We had a recent bootcamp on data visualization where the students many were like, sir, we are very tired, we are not able to do the bootcamp itself, so we are not able to cover a lot as well. Okay, but still no problem in that. We are currently not thinking about having a bootcamp on Tableau, but we will do that very soon. Like in the next 2-3 months we'll try to do that. I promise to you that. Okay. See, very difficult for us to post the question as the right time. That is the main thing, that why I have done the time limit, because people just flood the entire live chat itself. So instead of that, I put up the timer so that everyone can post only once and at the right moment itself, instead of posting again and again. Okay, so let us continue with CSS. I don't think so more people are going to join. Every single day 1000 people are just leaving. I don't know why. Okay, no problem with that, but you guys continue with the same. If you are having any problems or anything else, please let me know. I will help you out, and we'll continue with the same itself. Okay, let's get started, guys. At the end, if I'm able to save some time itself, we will continue with the same as well. Okay, so this is the CSS file. Let us start with today's presentation. Okay, so 7 days long live classes, basic web development bootcamp. Okay, what is the time right now? 7:12. Okay, let's continue. So today we'll get started with CSS itself. So let us just go into the code editor itself. This is a website. So I've created a small website. I will just show it to you guys. I've created a small website. Let me just show it to you. So this is a website that I've created. Okay, highest paid jobs for freshers in India. Please check out this awesome website that we have created. We have listed some of the highest paid jobs in IT field in India. So full stack web developer, some information about full stack web developer, then data analyst, some random information about data analyst, then software development engineer. So some random information about software development engineer as well. Okay, so that is the entire information that we have provided up till this particular point of time. This is a website that we have made. Now what I want you to do is, so let us just check the code right now. Let me just reduce the size of the code itself. It looks horrendous. Okay, so as you are able to see right over here, I've divided the entire section into two different parts. So this is an like a bar that I've created right now to demarcate the two parts that we are currently having. One is the main portion of the entire article. So that is the headline. Okay, that of the entire article itself, and the second line is some of the description for this particular article itself. Okay. Okay, guys, please focus upon what I'm teaching right now. We will continue with answering questions sometime later itself. Is my voice audible to everyone? Is my voice audible to everyone? Is my voice audible to everyone? Please let me know. Can someone let me know if my voice is audible or not? Okay, the voice is audible. I don't know why someone wrote like the voice is not audible or something like that. Please do not disturb the class in this particular way itself. Okay, there's a lot of different things that we have to cover. If you guys keep on disturbing the class like it's your voice, Barsha, then we'll not be able to cover anything during the entire period itself. Okay, so this is a website that I have created right now. I have divided into two parts. One is the introduction to the entire website itself, the entire article. So that contains a headline as well as some description for the entire website itself. And then I have the body of the article itself. In the body of the article, I have the title for each unit, and along with that I have some description for that unit as well. So there are 3 unit descriptions, that is this one, this one and this one. So there are 3 unit descriptions. There is one article description itself, and that's it. Okay, that is what I'm trying to explain right over here. So if I want to change the background color of all the unit descriptions, okay, so there are 3 unit descriptions, 1, 2 and 3. So the 3 unit descriptions that I'm having, I want to change the background color for that to, let's say, red. Okay, I want to change it to red. And so what will happen? Okay, let's see. To change the background color, first of all I will create the style tag. Okay, I will create the style tag itself to insert the CSS. So this is what we have seen yesterday as well. To insert style, to insert CSS to a particular tag itself, what we have to do, we have to write P, that is the tag itself, then that is a selector basically. So we have put up the selector. Now we'll specify what is the attribute, that is the description, what is the attribute that we want to do. If you remember from the last class itself, we have previously seen that we have a rule set, we have a particular selector, and then the declaration block. So here we want to declare that all the P tags should have their background color as blue. Okay, so we'll do background color color as blue. Okay, so we'll run this particular code and let's see what happens. Okay, there's some error. So I made a spelling mistake. Yeah, I made a spelling mistake. It should be round color. Let's run this. Okay, okay, so it's not looking good. Let's keep a red. Okay, so background color has a hyphen in between, not an underscore. So that was a mistake. Do not make the same mistake as me. So let us just run this, and as you're able to see, although all the like article paragraphs got converted into the background color, got converted into red color, but the entire article, the description of the entire article, the background also got converted into red color. Now we do not want that. We did not want the article description to get converted into the red color, but it did happen. Why? Because all these article and the item descriptions are basically paragraph tags. Are you able to understand up till this particular point of time? Like as this is also a paragraph tag, this is also a paragraph tag, this is also a paragraph tag, and as you are able to see, the last one is also for software development engineer also, it's a paragraph tag. And what we have written right over here, that select all the paragraph tags and convert the background color to red. So even though I just wanted the item background description background color to be converted into red, every single paragraph tag got converted into red color, and I don't want that. For that, CSS has given us 2 values, okay, 2 different types, that is class attribute selector and ID attribute selector. Okay, so let's try to understand this. Up till this particular point of time, nobody has any kind of doubt. Am I right? Like, you are able to understand why like all the paragraphs got converted into red. Am I right? Everyone is able to understand all the paragraphs got converted into red. Why all the paragraphs got converted into red? Am I right? Everyone is able to understand that why all the paragraphs got converted into red. Please write a yes or a no in the live chat so that I am able to understand. Okay, nobody's having any doubts. Clear, no doubts. Okay, great. So now we will be discussing how can we change only one of them or a group of them or something like that. Let's try to understand that right now. Okay, so CSS itself has provided us with two different attribute selectors. So instead of selecting just the paragraph tags, I can select a particular bunch of tags or a particular tag itself using this class tags and ID tags. So there are two attribute selectors, class tags and ID tags. Now you need to remember that ID tags are unique. Okay, you will, like, most of the time you will not be using ID tags, but you will be using class tags itself. We will be like looking at an example, trying to understand what are the differences between the two. Okay, but one of the main things I want to point out right now is for a particular tag itself, for a normal tag itself, let us see. As you are able to see, for example, for a p tag you had to just write div and then the declaration block. The selector was just div. There was no hash, there was no dot in front of it. It was just div and then the declaration block. But in case of class, you will have to write dot and then the name of that particular class itself. So it will, to show that to tell CSS that this is not a tag, this is a particular class itself, you will put a dot before the name of that particular class and then the entire description what you want to change. Whereas in case of ID, to show CSS that this particular name is the name of an ID, you will put a hash in front of it and then the description that you want to change in the CSS properties itself. So let us look at the example trying to understand this. First, let us take an example of class itself. How would we use class? Okay, so what we'll be doing right over here is, for p we'll be putting up another attribute. So inside this particular p tag, let me just zoom in. Inside this particular p tag, we'll put a class attribute. So class class is equals to, and then in inverted commas, in quotation marks, you will be writing your class name. So let's put up PARADESC. Okay, that is paragraph description. I've put the class name as paragraph description. So let us just copy this particular class. Now as this is for paragraph description for full stack web developer, then the next one is for data analyst. So let us put a class as paragraph description itself, and then another class in p as paragraph description. So all of these are paragraph descriptions itself. Let me just put it up on charge. Just give me a second. Otherwise it will shut down and the class won't happen. My biscuits just fell down. Okay, so there are three paragraph descriptions and we have put up the class name as paragraph description, as easy as it gets. And then for the like article description, let us put a class name as article article. Let's put up art description itself just to keep it short. So now we are having like two different type of classes, paragraph description and art description. Now if I'm going to change my CSS, instead of writing p, I will be writing, I want to just change the paragraph descriptions. If you remember, for class it was dot and then the name of the class that you want to select. So here it is dot, that because it is a class, and the name of the class that we want to select is para description itself. So we'll just select para description, and we want to change the background color to red. Okay, so that remains the same itself. Let us just run and just reload this, and as you are able to see, this time only the paragraph descriptions got changed. The background color got changed into red. Our article description still remained like unedited because we haven't made any changes to the article description. So this is the basic property of class. Now, for example, I want to have the color of all the para description itself. So I want to have another class. Okay, this time the class name is, for example, let us take text color. Okay, so the name of the class. So if I want to add a new class, so let us not confuse ourselves. Let us take a single class itself. Let's just take a text color. Okay, so I have made a new class text color right over here instead of the previous one. The rest of it remains the same class, para description, and art description itself. The only change that I've made is in the full stack web developer, I've named the class as text color. Okay, now I want to change the text color for full stack web developer to white. Okay, so let us just put up dot for denoting that this is a particular like I said, class attribute itself. So dot and then text color, and then we'll put up the description value, that is color is white. Okay, so when I'm running this particular code itself and I'm going back to the website, you'll be able to see that there's nothing happening right over here because everything went to white itself. Now I'm not able to see anything on my screen because the background is also white and the text is also white, but the text is actually there. It's just white in color. So what I want is the background should still remain red as well. Okay, so the background for full stack web developer should remain red, so that when there is white text over it, it is readable, like it is legible in nature itself. So to do that, what I will be doing is I will be adding both the classes in the same paragraph itself. In this paragraph of full stack web developer, I am only having the text color property, the text color class, and hence the text color is white, but the background is also white, so I am not able to read it. I want to change the background to red, so I can add the same para description class as well. To do that, to have two classes in the same tag itself, so I'm having this particular tag p class text color. Okay, to add a new tag itself, I can just write the name of that particular tag. Okay, specify a gap in between the next tag itself, and then write the name of the next tag. Okay, now when I am running this particular code itself, okay, so I have just put up the wrong okay, just a second, I just clicked on some other notebook itself. Just a second, it's loading still. Okay, so this particular thing that I had done, so class is equals to art desk for the first, so that was for the article itself. For the full stack web developer, now I am having two classes itself. So I'm having the para description class as the first class, that is paragraph description, and next I'm having text color. So now the paragraph description, the paragraph, like the color of this particular paragraph should be red, and the color of the text should be white. Let us just run this particular code and let's see what happens right now. So right now, early on it was just white color, no background. Now when I'm running this, you are able to see that the color of the background is red and the text is white. So we are having two classes being assigned to the same paragraph itself. This is one of the feature of class itself, that you can assign the same class to multiple paragraph tags. So this paragraph tag also has the same paragraph description class itself. This one also has, the data analyst one also has the paragraph description class itself. The software development engineer also has the paragraph description tag itself. and you can assign multiple classes to the same tag as well. So you have assigned paragraph description as well as you have assigned paragraph description as well as text color to this particular tag, that is the full stack web developer paragraph tag itself. So this is one of the features of class. You cannot do this with ID. So for example, if I'm assigning this as ID, so art description is an ID to the paragraph tag of the article description itself. Okay, so that is an ID. Now I cannot use the same ID anywhere else in the entire HTML page. Okay, in the entire page I cannot use the same ID again. I cannot have multiple IDs in the same. So I cannot have another ID named as use full ID. I cannot have another ID into the same ID as well. I can only assign one ID at a time, and that ID would be unique in the entire HTML page. I can assign an ID and a class at the same time. So I can have a particular ID right over here as well. ID is equals to let us say there, let us name an ID for this. Let's have another like height, HEI. Let's have a width. Okay, I have not taught you width right now. So what can we do? So okay, so for right now, let's take up width of the paragraph itself. So PARAWD. Okay, so paragraph width itself, and the same ID I cannot assign anywhere else. Okay, anywhere else. Although I'm having an ID as well as a class, but I cannot use the same ID anywhere else. So if I want to assign some CSS to a particular ID itself, so I will just write hash. Okay, if you remember right over here as so shown into you, for ID attribute selector we have hash and then the name of that particular ID. So we are having hash, and then let's put up the ID as PARAWD, and then we want to have the width, DTH width as, let us say, 50%. Okay, we'll learn what is 50%, how it works. That is the next thing that we are going to do. So do not be like, sir, 50%, how, what is this? Wait for 5 more minutes. Okay, so we have assigned a particular ID as para width itself, and we have set the width to 50% for that. So when we are running it, so we are having one ID and 2 classes being assigned to full stack web developer. Okay, so when we run this and go to the next line, you will be able to see that the width of the entire paragraph is now just 50% of the entire screen. Okay, so it just comes in the 50%. So we have set an ID as well as 2 classes to this particular paragraph itself. Now you need to remember the main difference between IDs and classes. ID is just one time attribute. If there is something very specific that you want to set, only in that particular case you will be using ID. But if there is something that is common within multiple aspects of the entire documentation, then you will be using classes. Hence IDs are very less used, whereas classes are used much more frequently. Okay, so that is the entire difference between class and ID. I hope you were able to understand this. Let me know if you guys are able to understand this or not. Please let me know in the live chat so that I am able to understand whether you guys are able to understand or not. Okay, so there is nothing that I can do. Okay, so are you guys able to understand up till this particular point of time? Are you guys okay? So everyone is able to understand up till this particular point of time. So please repeat. Okay, please explain again. Okay, so many people are not able to understand, I guess. No problem in that. Okay, so let me just explain it to you once again. So there are 2. So first of all, when you want to select a particular selector using just a tag, then there can be multiple p tags that are occurring all over your entire article itself. You have your article paragraph, you are having your index paragraph, and there are so many paragraphs. So you need to bunch them together so that only some of the paragraph tags get altered. So for that you are given two options. One of them is id and the second one then is class. So id is something that you can use only one time in the entire article. Now instead of tag, that is instead of the p tag itself, you will now be selecting the class names and the id names. Okay, instead of writing the class, so early on what you used to do, okay, let us just see that. Early on you used to select the class tag name itself, that is div tag itself. Now you will be selecting the class name. Okay, the class name is dot and then the class name itself, and that class will be converted into whatever css property that you want to change. Whereas in id, only it can be used only once in the entire thing. Okay, you can have, like, so for example, you were having your 3 different paragraphs, that is for full stack web developer, you were having then for the data analyst, and then for the software development engineer. All 3 of them could be assigned the same class itself. Okay, the same class of paragraph description, but you cannot assign them the same id. An id once that has been used cannot be reassigned again. That is just one-off occurrence itself. Now a full stack web developer paragraph, you were able to assign 2 classes itself. So one of them was your paragraph description, as you are able to see, paragraph description class itself, and the second one was text color class as well. So you can assign multiple paragraphs the same class itself, and you can assign multiple classes to the same paragraph as well. Now this cannot be done in id. Once an id has been given, it is just, that's it. You cannot have another id on an id or something like that. Once it has been used, that's it, it has been used. Okay, that is the basic concept behind the like these classes and ids, so that you are able to access them. Like instead of accessing the wrong, for example, if you were accessing the paragraph tag, okay, then all the paragraph tag in the entire html documents would have changed its color to red, and you don't want that. You want it only for the front-end engineer, then the data analyst and the software engineer paragraphs to change their color to red. Hence you are having the arsenal of classes and ids, so that you are able to improve upon your selection process itself, which particular tag to select. You can use id and class to just modify upon that. That is the entire concept behind it. I hope that you are able to understand up till this particular point of time. Okay, so people are able to understand. That's great. That's amazing, guys. Okay, now I'll be showing the attendance. The link for the attendance will be on the screen for the next 10 seconds, and then I will be removing it. Please just take a screenshot. Do not fill the attendance right now. Fill the attendance at the end of the class itself. Do not fill the attendance right now. Just take a screenshot only. Do not fill the attendance right now. Okay, so this is the particular attendance link. Just take a screenshot. Do not fill the attendance right now. Fill the attendance at the end of the class itself. The attendance link is working. Okay, do not you do not have to fill it right now. Okay, so that is the attendance done. You do not need to use hyphen. Okay, that was just for the word itself. Like I can just put it up as para itself. Instead of wd, I can use para. Instead of para description, I can just use description as well as a particular class name itself. You do not need to use hyphen. Okay, so I hope everyone is able to understand up till this particular point of time. It is very easy, guys. It is the core, like it is the basic upon which the entire web development this is just the foundation that I'm currently making for you guys, so that even though you are not continuing with Shape AI, even if you are learning on your own itself, you guys will be able to understand every single thing. Okay, so I will not be explaining in Hindi. I will be explaining in English itself, because we have international students as well. Okay, Ashik, please focus upon what I'm teaching right now. Okay, take forward the topic itself. Okay, let's continue with the same itself. Okay, Let's continue with the same. So we are done, like a basic introduction to classes and IDs have been done right now. Now we'll be looking at the developer tools. Okay, so one of the main things that you need to understand is developer tools itself, how it works, what are the different functionalities. Although I will not be going into a lot of depth into how to use development tools itself. Yeah, so I missed the attendance yesterday, so please can you do something? If you have missed the attendance yesterday, there's nothing I can do about you. Okay, the attendance has been shown right now. Okay, everyone, please listen to me very carefully. If someone asks in the live chat, okay, that it will be very funny. Okay, if someone asks in the live chat, has attendance been shown, just tell to them that no, it has not been shown. Today we have not been given the attendance itself. Let them enjoy. It will be very funny when people are coming at the end of the entire class and they're saying like, sir, I'm not able to get the attendance. Sir, attendance has not been shown. Sir has not shown the attendance. I've been in the class the entire time and still I didn't saw the attendance itself. It will be very funny and we'll take the entire like moj out of it. Okay, so yeah, let's continue with the same. Yeah, it's YouTube, just go back and watch the video. Okay, let's just like do this. Okay, it will be very funny. Let's see what happens at the end of the class. Okay, so let's start with developer tools itself. So developer tools are something that will like help you a lot while moving further. Okay, there is a lot of different things that you will be able to explore. What are the like frameworks used by a proper industry, what are the backend used by the proper industry, what are the different things, optimizations done and everything else that you can do via the developer tools itself. So let me just open Google Chrome itself. Let me just open Google Chrome. So once I've opened Google Chrome itself, I'm doing right click and then inspect. Okay, so you are doing right click and then inspect, then you will be able to see this particular panel that is coming to you guys. Okay, so although there is a lot of different things that are present right over there, okay, but we will be using only the element section itself. As you are able to see right over here, the entire web page itself is, you are able to see it very clearly right over here itself. Like what are the different like HTML properties, what are the different tags that are available and all those kind of stuff. What are the different styles? So let us see, like if I disable the background color, the font size as well, then I'm so if I disable the background itself, then everything becomes white. Okay, as you are able to see, if I'm enabling the background, everything is able, we are able to see that it's Google and everything is very beautiful and everything. And as soon as I'm toggling off the background, everything is going white. Okay, so this is something that you guys need to understand. Okay, so this is the entire development tool. So right click, inspect, you are able to open the developer tools itself. Now if I'm doing any changes in it, for example, if I'm going and changing the background color, so let's just change the background color to something else. Okay, so let's do one thing. So like we will be coming back to this entire like how to change colors and everything in the website itself, but that is what I'm telling you right now. Right click, inspect, and this is your development tools. Try to go into it, try to analyze it, try to like see what are the different things that are available to you. Okay, this is very important for you guys. Okay, try to do that. If you guys are not able to understand anything, then of course Google is your help as well, but still developer tools are something that is like right click and inspect. Every browser will have its own development tool itself. So you are having development tool for right here Chrome. Okay, so now if I'm going to Safari, so if I'm doing right click and inspect, so Safari has its own development tools as well. So you are having your console, you are having your elements, sources, so all these different things are available to you in the same format itself. So that is what I'm telling to you right now, that there is a lot of different tools, and this will something that will help you to understand a lot more about the entire website that you are visiting right now. This is something of an advanced level, so we'll not be covering it right now, but it was something that you guys need to know. Okay, so moving further, to the next particular thing. Now in real life, whenever you are measuring something, okay, you are usually measuring it as a length itself, that is in miles, feet, kilometers, centimeters, meters. You are actually measuring that in length of the entire thing. But when you are moving on to like CSS, when you are measuring things in CSS, it's not in length but in pixel or percentage. So I hope everyone knows pixel. You must have heard that, okay, your screen is like 1080p, that is 1080 pixel density or something like that. Your phone is having these many pixels in it. So each unit of light that is currently present on your screen itself, your LED or something like that, is called as a pixel. Each pixel has three values, an R and a G and a B. Okay, that is red, green and blue. So RGB color, you must have heard that a pixel has RGB value of something. So each screen has its own like pixel density, how many pixels are present in the entire screen, how many pixels are present in the width, how many pixels are present in the length. You must have heard that, okay, Apple and Samsung have the most number of pixels in their screen, whereas when you are going to Nokia, you are able to count every single pixel on their screen or something like that. Okay, so that is the basic difference between the entire thing. Okay, so that basically, yes, you can refer to it as resolution as well, like Shubham Patthar said. Okay, so that is the entire thing that I'm trying to explain to you. For those who are coming late to the class and not attending the class on time, the link of the attendance will be shown anywhere in the middle of the class itself. Okay, I can show it any single where. You have to attend the entire class properly to understand everything. I will just not be giving the attendance link so easily. Okay, I will not be telling where the attendance link is, if I am going to give the attendance link or not. The only thing that I am telling right now is the attendance link will be closed tomorrow morning at 2 p.m. Attendance link will be closed for today, tomorrow morning at 2 p.m. itself. Okay, so for those who are here for just the attendance link, they can leave so that other people can focus upon the entire class itself. Okay, so there's no difference between pixel and resolution. Resolution is basically like you are having your box. Okay, so you are having a box of length, width and height, okay, of like 8 by 8 meters, a particular square of 8 by 8 meters. So that is your resolution. That 8 by 8 is your resolution for that particular box itself. Similarly, pixel is one unit itself. So one unit on your screen is called as a pixel, and the resolution will be like you are having 1080 pixels in the length and like 720 pixels in the width or something like that. Okay, so you are able to understand up till this particular point of that if you are not able to understand how to fill the attendance after 3 days, then may God help you. Okay, tomorrow morning at 2 p.m. the attendance link will be closed. Okay, so let's continue with the same. Yeah, so in the entire screen, that is the CSS itself, all the measurement takes place in the type of pixel or percentage itself. Okay, so you are having either your pixel or percentage of the screen, so like 40% of the screen or 50% of the screen itself. So these are the different values that you will be using for like having measurements like width, height of an image of a particular paragraph tag or something like that. So there are two type of measurements that you can do in real life. One of them is absolute measurement. Okay, so there is a road that is 8 meters wide, so you know that the road is 8 meters in width, so it is an absolute measurement itself. The second measurement that you can do is relative. Okay, so there is a particular road and it is 2 cars wide. Okay, so there are two ways of measuring things. One is a particular absolute way, that is like 8 meters in width, or relative way with respect to to something. So like 2 cars wide, or so like the road is like 2 cars wide or something like that. Okay, so in CSS as well, there are 2 different types of measurement values. So you can specify the measurement of a width in terms of absolute value like pixel, that only 400 pixel itself, nothing less, nothing more than that, or relative, that is with respect to the screen itself, the width should occupy 40% of the entire screen. Your screen is there, 40% of the screen should be the width of that particular element itself. So there are 2 values. Absolute, that is when you're specifying that okay, it should be exactly 400 pixel. If the screen is very small, like for example your phone, then 400 pixel will expand beyond the screen itself. You will have to scroll and see the entire image. Whereas if you are having your laptop, then 400 pixel will be very small. It will be a small part of your screen itself. With relative, it's a better idea, because like for example, if you are having a 40% width of a particular element, then it will take 40% of the entire screen. If you are on your smaller screen, that is your mobile phone, it will take 40% width of your mobile phone itself. Whereas if you are on your laptop, then it will take 40% of the width of the entire screen of your laptop. Okay, so like we'll be looking at relative lengths and everything in this particular session itself, this particular bootcamp itself. We'll be looking at a lot of different things. First of all, we'll start working with absolute itself, so that we are able to understand how width and everything works. Okay, so let us first take up an example itself. Let us see an example. Let us go right over here. Let us go into size. Okay, so no, this is the image. Let's go to image itself. So we are having a particular image right over here. Let me just remove this particular style block itself. So I'm just having an image. Let me go to that particular website itself. So image.html. So this is the image that I'm having. So 7 days long fee, blah 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 blah, blah. So you are having this particular image on your screen. As you are able to see that for seeing the entire picture itself, I have to scroll down below. I have to see the entire picture, I have to scroll down below. Sometimes that is not what you want. I want a picture that is having a length of like 400 and a width of 400 as well. Okay, so the width should be 400 and the height of the picture. So you refer the items present in the entire screen in CSS as height and width. Okay, not length and width. It is always height and width. Okay, so to do that, let us put we'll select that particular image tag itself. So it is img. So img, and then we'll select we will put the entire thing as, let us see, we'll put HEIGST height as 400 pixel. As the entire image is a square, so even if I'm putting 400 pixel itself, if I'm not specifying width, the width will be adjusted in such a way that the height itself is 400 pixel itself, and it is able to maintain the structure of the entire image as well. Let us see what I'm talking about. So I've just specified the height as 400 pixels itself. So when I'm reloading the page, you're able to see the entire image becomes 400 by 400 pixel itself. To maintain the structure of the image itself, the width has been reduced. Now the height is 400 pixel and the width is also 400 pixel. But what if I did not want a square? I want a rectangle. I want the height to be of 400 pixel and the width to be of 200 pixel itself. So what I'll be doing is I'll put another attribute to it. Let's put width width as 200 pixel. Okay, when I'm doing that, I'm running this particular code and I'm looking at my website again. You will be able to see that now the width is half of what it was originally, that is 200 pixel, and the length is still 400 pixel itself. So I'm able to manipulate the length and the width with respect to different things using height and width. When I'm specifying it, the attributes like absolute attributes, that I want the width to be like 200 pixel, I want the length to, that is the height, to be of 400 pixel. But what if I'm putting up the height as 50%? What happens when I put up the height as 50%? Okay, not the height, let us put the height as like 100 pixel and the width as 50%, so that we are able to see. So 50% of the entire width of the screen and height should be 100 pixel. Let us see what happens right away. Okay, so it has run. I'm loading it. As you're able to see, the height still remains 100 pixel itself, okay, and the width is now 50% of the entire screen itself. So you are having your relative that is with respect to the entire. So if I'm doing, okay, so let us go back, let us change it to 200 pixel itself, and let us just change it to 400 pixel. So when I'm running this is the original image that we were having, okay, the rectangular image. Now when I'm trying to like shorten the entire website itself, as you're able to see, the like picture gets cropped up, okay, the picture gets cropped up. So let us increase the width to be of like 800 pixel, okay, and then run this. So now as you're able to see, when I'm just like putting the image shorter and shorter, it is just cropping up the entire thing as well. So if I'm looking on the website via a particular like phone itself, then it will be something like this. If I have to scroll to the entire picture to look at the entire picture. Now this is just not good, okay, it should not be like that. I should be able to see the entire picture in one go. For that we can use relative thing itself. So instead of writing the width as 800 pixel, let us write it as 50%, okay, and just remove the height bargain itself. Now when I'm playing this particular thing and then I'm seeing the entire image itself, so now as it is relative in nature, so when I'm increasing the size of my browser, the entire image is also increasing with it. It is maintaining that 50% of the entire browser itself. So even though if I'm on a like my phone itself, it will be 50% of the width of the phone. If I'm on my laptop itself, it will be 50% of the laptop. If I'm on my like large screen laptop as well, like on my desktop or something like that, it will still occupy only 50% of the width of the screen itself. So that is the advantage of having relative styling itself, okay. This is called as Css units, okay. These like pixels or like percent are also called as units in CSS, okay. So there are many units that has been given to us, some of which are pixel, millimeter, inches and centimeter. You will not be using centimeter, inches and millimeter at all whenever you are doing your like CSS coding. These were your older CSS versions that used to provide it, and just to maintain the cross compatibility of the older websites, these are still there for you to use, but you will never be using it. You will always use pixel when you want to do absolute like work itself, whereas in relative you are having your percent, you are having your enum like em, you are having your vm, vw and the vh, okay. So we will discuss upon what each of these means. Up till this, like we will discuss upon it, so do not ask that okay, what is em, what is vw, what is vh. We are going to discuss it in the next slide itself, so let's wait up till that particular point of time. Are you guys able to understand the difference between absolute and relative, and why relative is better than absolute, okay? Are you guys able to understand up till this particular point of time or not? Please let me know. Hey guys, if you are able to understand up till this particular point of time, please let me know. Okay, people are able to understand. That's great. Okay. Like I feel so good when people say that they are able to understand it. I feel like yes. Yes. Okay. So that's great, everyone. That's great. Okay, we were able to understand up till this particular point of time. Okay, so let's continue with the same itself. Okay, let's go to present and the next one. Okay, so now we'll be looking at all the different CSS relative units that are there and what are the different values for that. Okay, what is the meaning for that? So like we said, the percentage is basically relative to the parent element. So here when we were specifying the percentage for a particular image, that image was present inside the parent element was body. If you remember the tree hierarchy, it was body and then the entire image itself. So hence the percentage is with respect to the entire parent element, that is body itself. Body takes the entire screen. So if I'm having a parent element as a particular paragraph tag, and that paragraph tag is as a width of 50% of the screen itself, and then I'm inserting an image in the paragraph tag having a width of 50%, then the image width with respect to the entire screen will just be 25%, because first the paragraph is itself 50% of the screen, and then the image itself is 50% of the paragraph itself. So it is like 50% ka bhi 50%, and that is 25% itself. Okay, so that is the basic differentiation where that you need to know that about the percentage itself. Next, you are having your view width. Okay, so viewport width or view width itself. Okay, let me just make you understand via the example itself. Okay, I thought that you will be able to just understand it by just listening to me, but no problem. I will just make you guys understand via an example. So basically, let us see right over here itself. You are having your entire screen. So this is your screen. You are having a paragraph tag. Okay, the paragraph tag is having your width. Okay, the width as 50%. Okay, the paragraph itself is of 50%. So this is your paragraph. Okay, so this is how your paragraph will look like. Only the 50% of the screen is there, and then you are inserting an image in the paragraph itself, and you are putting in image you are putting the CSS value of width for the image as 50% itself. So the 50% of the image is 50% of the parent element. The parent element to the image is this paragraph and not the body tag. Okay, the parent element for the image is the paragraph and not the body tag. So it will the width 50% of the image. Okay, so width 50%. Width 50% of the image is with respect to the parent element, that is the paragraph tag, and paragraph tag is 50% with respect to the other element, that is body. Okay, so with respect to body, paragraph itself is 50% itself. Okay, so you are having your body. Okay, so body is the entire screen. The paragraph is 50% of the body itself. So paragraph is 50% of the body, and the image itself is 50% of the entire paragraph itself. So with respect to the entire screen, body is 25%. So that is the entire point that I'm trying to say, that when you're using percent, it is with respect to the parent element. And how to find the parent element? Just look for the element that draw the tree. If you are not able to see directly, just draw the tree. So you are having your body. Now body has one element paragraph. Paragraph has a child element of the image. So the parent of image itself is paragraph. That is how you will calculate it. Okay, moving to the next part itself. I hope that this is easy to understand for everyone. So we have learned about the percent. Okay, now what if I want to see with respect to the entire screen itself? So you are having that image inside of a paragraph, but I want the image as well to be 50% of the entire screen. Okay, so but it should still be inside the paragraph itself. For that, we are having your view width. Okay, or viewport width. Okay, the VW is the entire thing. When you are expanding it, is viewport width. Okay, so viewport is the entire screen that you are having. One viewport, so one VW is 1% of the entire screen. 2 VW is 2% of the entire screen with respect to width. When you are having 50, it would be 50% of the entire width of the screen. So if I'm going back to my example itself, if I'm going back to the drawing board, I'm taking the same example right over here as well. Let me just rub this particular thing. Okay, if the entire width, let me just rub this as well, and this. So you are having your body. Inside the body you are having a paragraph. Okay, the width of the paragraph is 50%. You want to insert an image as well inside the paragraph itself. That should also have a 50%, or like the image should be 50% with respect to the entire screen. Okay, not with respect to the paragraph tag, with respect to entire screen. The width of the image would be 50 VW. Okay, that is Viewport width. Okay, what does viewport width mean? With respect to the entire screen, this is X% of the entire screen. So you are having 50, so this is 50% of the entire screen. So 50 VW is equals to 50% of screen. Okay, so that is the entire thing. You are having VW, it is 50% of the entire width of the screen. Okay, it is width. Okay, it is width of the entire screen itself. Now VH is another attribute as well. VH is 50, like if you are having 50 VH, that means 50% of entire view port height. Okay, so 50%, 50 VH is also another thing, that is 50% viewport height. That is whatever your screen is, out of that 50% is something that you will be using. Are you able to understand? So these are the two more different relative units that you can use in CSS. And the last one is EM. Okay, relative to the font size of the element. Okay, so relative, what is the difference between VW and directly using percent? I have explained it just right now itself. Percent is with respect to the parent element. Okay, so but VW is with respect to the entire screen. Okay, so relative units, they are the three relative units that are having right now. Okay, I'll just put up the screen once again. So you are having these three relative units that you are having right now itself. First one is the percent, second one is the VW, and the third one is VH. Percent is with respect to the parent element. Okay, with respect to the parent element itself, you will be specifying your percent. Whenever you are having a particular parent element of a paragraph and you want the image to be 50% of that particular paragraph itself, then that would be 50%. Okay, whereas when you are having you want the entire image to be 50% of the entire screen, no matter in under which element it is, even the image is inside the paragraph tag itself, you want the width of the image to be 50% of the entire screen, then you will be using VW to specify that okay, this is under, like, this particular picture is under the entire screen itself, 50% of the entire screen. Okay, instead of, if you were using percent, then it would be 50% of the entire paragraph itself. Okay, so that is the difference between VW and percent. Then the last one is EM. Okay, EM is basically relative to the font size of the element. Okay, so you are having this particular font size, okay, relative to the font size of the element. So let us do one thing. This is something that, okay, 2 EM means 2 times the size of the current font. Okay, so we will VH is basically you are having, so if you are able to understand VW, then the same thing for height is VH. Okay, when you are looking at the viewport height, that is the height of your screen, then 50% of the entire height of the screen itself. Okay, the same thing VW, when converted to height, it will be VH. Okay, so em is something that is a lot different from the other examples itself. I do not need to explain to you like what is a pixel or what is an inch or what is a millimeter or what is a centimeter, because that is something that you are already familiar with. We need to understand what is an em is. Okay, to understand em, we will be solving it using an example itself. When we will be doing it via an example, you will be able to understand em in a much more better sense itself. Okay, let us look at an example. So let us go. So this is our task itself. We want to change the width to 100 pixel, height to 200 pixel, and font size to 4 em. So let us look at that particular example. Let us go to the size. Let us remove all the style itself. Let me just remove that. Let's just keep the background itself. Okay, let me just run it, and it should be size. So this is something that I have created for you guys. There are 4 paragraphs in this. Okay, the first paragraph is having the background color as blue. The second paragraph is having the background color as red. The third paragraph is having a background color as green, and the fourth paragraph has no background color at all. Okay, and it is just simple paragraph itself. Now our aim is, okay, let us see at our aim. We want to convert the width of the first paragraph to 100 pixel. To convert the width of the first paragraph to 100 pixel, we can just write 100 pixel, and we want to assign it to width. Okay, so we have assigned for the first paragraph itself, width is 100 pixel itself. Okay, please no one tell them where the attendance link is. Okay, like you remember, we are smart, we don't know where the attendance link is. Okay, just be smart, never tell anyone where the attendance link is. Okay, so we have converted the width of the first paragraph to 100 pixel. Let us just run it and let us see what happens. Now fixing the length or width of the first paragraph as 100 pixel, you are able to see that inside 100 pixel itself, the entire paragraph gets printed out, and the rest of the things are exactly similar. Like there is no change in the rest of the like paragraphs itself. Okay, so let us move on to the next question. I want to change this question to height to 200 pixel. Okay, we want to have the height as 200 pixel itself. So let us do that. We want to have the height of the second paragraph as height as 200 pixel. Okay, so let us just run this and let's see what happens. So for the first paragraph, we had the width as 100 pixel. Now for the second paragraph, we want to have the height as 200 pixel. So let us just reload it. Let's see. So as you are able to see, now the height of the entire second paragraph is 200 pixel itself. As you are able to see, like the entire thing increased to 200 pixel in height. Okay. Now let us move on to the third element itself. The third element says the font size to 4 em. Okay, what does em means? 1 em means 1 time the entire like size of your font size itself. So 1 em means the same font size. Okay, 1 em means this is the font size. For example, this is 18 font size itself. So the entire thing would be 18 in length itself, and the entire font size would be 1 em. That is 18 in size. 2 em would be twice the font size. If the font size was 20, it would be 40. If our font size was 18, it would be 36. If the font size was 50, it would be 100. Okay, so 2 em is twice the font size. 5 em is 5 times the font size. Okay, so now I want to increase the font size itself. So let us just increase the font size to 4 em. So as you are able to see right over here, font size is to 4 em. Originally it was like this. Okay, as simple as it, there was nothing. So in this third software development engineer, the font size, as you are able to see, is like very minuscule. What happens when I put the font size as 4 em? That is 4 times the current font size. So let's run this, and when I'm reloading it, you will be able to see that the it becomes 4 times. 4em means 4 times the current font size. Initially when I'm putting it as 1em means the original font size itself. Okay, what was the original font size? This was the original font size, as you are able to see, so small. So when I'm putting it up as 4em itself, it is 4 times the current font size. I'm increasing the font size of the third paragraph to 4 times the current font size itself. So when I'm running this, you will be able to see that the third paragraph, the font size has become 4 times the early font size itself. As simple as that. Okay, so that was em for you. Now let us see as vh. Okay, so let us do one thing. Let us put up a p value itself, right? Let us put up a div. Okay, so we will put the last 4th block inside a div. Okay, I will just have to close the div itself. So the 4th paragraph tag, I have put that inside a inside, why it is not happening? I put the 4th paragraph tag inside and another div itself. Okay, I have not wasted any more space. I put the entire paragraph tag inside another div, and I will just give it a little bit space as well. So you are having a particular tree hierarchy right over here. You are having a div, and inside the div there is a p tag, and inside the p tag is the 4th paragraph itself. Now what happens if I am like shifting the width of the div tags? Okay, so let us do one thing. Div, I'm putting the selector as the normal selector itself for the tag div, and I'm putting up the width, width width, as let us say 50%. Okay, so 50% width of the div tag. So I'm just having one div tag in the 4th like paragraph itself. Div basically makes a container for, I think so you weren't Siddesh, you were not there in the yesterday's class itself. Div basically makes a container. Everything within that div lives in that particular container itself. That's all. It just makes a division. That's everything that is right over there. Okay, so let's continue with the same itself. You are having your div tag right over here, and inside the div tag you are having a p tag. So I want to specify like div. I'm selecting the div tag itself. I'm putting the width as 50%. Now everything contained in the div tag would be 50% of the parent tag. So the parent tag to div tag. Okay, so you are having a div tag. The parent tag to div tag is actually the body tag itself. So with respect to the entire body of this screen, that is the entire like screen itself, it would be, the div tag would be 50%. So let us just run and let's see what happens. As you're able to see, the 4th paragraph itself becomes 50% of the entire screen. 4th paragraph itself becomes 50% of the entire screen. Now the 4th paragraph becomes 50% of the entire screen because it is inside the div tag. Okay, because the div tag has, so div acts like a particular container. Now if I'm shrinking the container itself, whatever is present inside the container will also shrink with it. Okay, are you able to understand? So let us just try to understand this via the board. So I will just remove everything. So initially you were having this particular div tag. Okay, this is your website. So this is your entire like screen itself. You are having a div tag right over here. This was your div tag. Now when I did like div tag width 50%, so the parent to this particular div tag, so this is your div tag itself, div. So the parent to the div tag is originally the body of the entire website itself. Okay, so when I do 50% width, so the div tag will reduce to 50% of the entire body of the website itself. So now the div tag would look something like this after it becomes 50%. So now the div contained the paragraph as well. So inside the div, the paragraph was also present. Now the paragraph is 100% of the width of the div itself. Okay, whatever the width of the div is, according to that, the paragraph has to remodel itself, so that because it is inside of the div itself. Okay, now what I will do is I will increase the like size of the let us see the paragraph tag. So the class is fourth, so let us go to the fourth class itself. So dot fourth, fourth, and we will put the view height. So we will do width width is equals to view height, and then we'll put like 50 view height. Let us see what happens. So 50 view width. Okay, let us put like 50 view width itself. Let's run this again and let's see what happens. As you are able to see the entire, okay, so 50 is also the same thing itself. So let us put up like 75 so that we are able to demarcate between them. Or let us put like the difference between 50. Okay, so let us put 50% first. So when I'm putting 50%, then the entire p tag itself will rearrange itself such that it is 50% of the parent tag. The parent tag to the fourth p tag is basically the div tag itself. So 50% of the div tag is 25% of the entire screen. So when I'm using 50%, it is 25% of the entire screen, because 50% of the div tag, which is already 50% of the entire body itself. This is the same example which I made you understand early on itself. They have made no change with it. Okay, so you are having, so let us just inspect the element itself. Okay, as you are able to see right over here, let me just put it a little bit lower. So this is the div tag. You are able to see that the div tag in blue is 50% of the entire screen, okay, in the width of the screen. So 50% gives 50% width to the div tag with respect to the body tag. Now div itself is the parent to the paragraph tag, the fourth paragraph tag. So when I am assigning 50% to the fourth paragraph tag, as you are able to see, it is basically 50% of the parent tag. Okay, the parent tag for the paragraph tag is the div tag itself. So as you are able to see, for the paragraph it is 50% of the div tag, as you are able to see on my screen. The div tag is in orange and the blue is the paragraph tag itself. When I'm changing it from 50% in the fourth particular selector itself to 50 VW, that is viewport width, and then I'm running this. So viewport width means with respect to the entire screen. Okay, it does not matter to which you are the parent. Okay, so when I'm running this particular line, you will be able to see that now the fifth, like the div is still 50% of the entire screen, but the paragraph is also 50% of the entire screen itself. It does not matter the parent is like 50% or 20%, it does not matter. I hope that you are able to understand up till this particular point of time. It was very easy. I have not used any hard language. I have given you all the examples that you are able to understand. Okay, so we have discussed all the different CSS units. As we will be moving further from the same itself, you will be using it every single day, so you will be able to understand this with hands-on practice as well. Moving further to CSS color. Okay, so till now you have been using a lot of colors, for example red, white, blue, green. You used the direct word for that particular color itself. Now in CSS you are basically having pixels on your screen. Okay, the pixels basically define your color itself. Okay, so you are having three major colors that are present: red, green and blue. Okay, so you must have heard that it is an RGB plane with like RGB Adobe RGB value of like 99% or something like that. So basically you are having your three mixture of colors R, G and B, and when I'm changing the intensity of R, when I'm changing the intensity of green, I'm changing the intensity of blue, or I'm intermixing these colors, I'm able to get new colors as well. So that is basically how you define a color in CSS. So you will be having an R value from 0 to 255, then you will be having a green value from 0 to 255, and then you will be having a blue value from 0 to 255, where 255 means that you are saturating it with that particular color, and 0 means there is no that particular color. So if you are having red value as 0, that means there is no red color in the entire color. If you are having 255 as your red value, then it will be the highest value that you are able to have in red color itself. Okay, so let's continue with the same itself. So we have done with this everything that, okay, so let us continue from tomorrow itself, then no problem in that. We'll continue from tomorrow. There is no absolute problem with the same as well. We have already taken up a good amount of lecture itself. From tomorrow we'll be working at some small like examples, just trying to integrate HTML and CSS together. We'll be looking at some different, like I will be giving you mock-ups and we'll be making it together, so as you're able to see style an image, then style a font, and then we'll be having 2 or 3 smaller projects as well, so that we are able to understand it at least. Okay, so can you tell me some basic of Angular? Do not learn Angular, I'm telling you right now. Learn React itself. There are very less companies that are actually working in Angular. Use React. Okay, do not use Angular. Okay, CSS Color is basically like itself is like RGB only, RGB value and nothing else. It's just RGB value itself. Okay, okay, so that's all. Okay, again I'm just reminding you guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel or liked the video, please do that. It really helps us a lot. Okay, so can you please tell us a roadway to become data analyst? You can look at the syllabus that we provide actually on our website itself. You can look at the syllabus and you will be able to learn from it as well. Okay. Any bootcamp for React? We are currently not planning to have any bootcamp for React, but if there is, you guys will be able to know, because you are on our like WhatsApp groups and Telegram channels, so you will be able to know about that as well. Okay, let's meet tomorrow itself, guys. There's no problem with the same, and I hope that you guys are able to learn a lot from this. We actually, like at Shape AI, we have people from Google, we have people from American Express, and you can even see our graduates. Like we already train people in many different things as well, from SDE to web development to data analyst, and we have students working in almost the top companies in India itself. So they just now graduated from our like training sessions, and out of the 30 people who graduated, 28 of them got placed in the top companies in India. So I'm extremely proud of them, and like it's so good to see when your own students are actually getting placed in like Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, then DE Shaw, then so many different companies. You can check it out, like they are getting placed in like ZS Associates, getting internships in the top companies in India as a data analyst, as a full stack web developer, as a software development engineer. So it's amazing to see that we are actually making a difference. So thank you so much. You can of course check the graduates from our website shapeai.tech. You can go there and check it. Like I'm so proud of them. Like that's the only thing that I really look forward to, like when our graduates actually go out there and go into such good companies itself. Although we like help them a lot, but yeah. Okay, thank you so much, guys, and we'll meet tomorrow. Okay, and we'll continue with the same as well. Thank you.